Hey everybody, it is time for another live stream with Megan from Lindinhof, and I see she has arrived. Hello Megan, are you ready, girl? There
Hey,
she is.
hey everybody, how are
Hey
you?
lady.
Hey,
As usual, I have to wait for the audio to catch up. I don't know why it always happens on my end and nobody else's, but I'm sure it's a StreamYard thing. But welcome back, Megan.
hey, Steffi.
How you doing?
Living the dream. It's amazing.
Living the dream, living the dream. So, are you ready for another fun live stream? Another question and answer session?
Let's do it.
So, before we get into it, typical housekeeping. I have provided your information below in the description, and if I haven't already, I think I have. If not, it'll be there when this goes back on display or for review on YouTube. But for our viewers, and I will say this a couple of times throughout the evening, but for our viewers, if you have questions for Megan, go ahead and type them in the live stream chat, and we will attempt to grab them and answer them as quick as we can. Megan and I are on this stream through a service called StreamYard. You can see it kind of right above Megan's head there. It says powered by StreamYard. So our live chat feature is about there. Our live chat feature is behind by, I think it's usually about 30 seconds behind, maybe a little more, it depends, but takes us a second to see the comments come through, but we will answer them as soon as you can. And a reminder, if you guys are watching this on review after we've on, we did it helps support the channel. Oh no, that was weird. YouTube.
Is it yours or me?
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably StreamYard, but anyway, if you can watch this with the ads on, YouTube likes to get their payment. They provide this as a free service to us in exchange for those sorts of pennies and dollars and things for them if you watch the ads. But we also have there's super stickers and the super chat. That money actually goes to help support the channel more so than supporting YouTube. So feel free to use that. But so anyway, Megan, our discussion, I thought I'd circle back. We did a couple weeks ago a live stream talking about horse shows, first time horse shows. And I thought, it had a lot of response. It's had a lot of views. And I thought, there was a million more things we could talk about. So I thought we'd do that tonight. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
We talked before, about first horse shows and when you're ready, but I want to get a little bit more into that. And so kind of the mindset I want to be in is not somebody who is in probably the situation that your clients are in, full-time training, have a full-time trainer available. I'm more thinking of the adult amateurs or junior young riders who, maybe they just do not have regular access to a coach or limited access to a coach. Maybe they're in an area where it's just very difficult to get lessons. They're more rural. Or, maybe there is a adult amateur who, it could be somebody who rode in the hunter or jumper world for years, and now their horse is aged out a little. They don't want to jump their horse anymore, and they're looking for some fun to have with their horse. And they're like, hey, some lower level dressage looks like fun. It looks easy. Circles, walk, track, canter, circles, changes of direction, lengthenings, blah, blah, blah. They think no problem. So that's kind of the mind frame I kind of wanted to be in and, to talk about.
Okay.
Because I think, it's harder for them to kind of figure some of these, what I will be asking you questions out. So we'll go along with that mind frame. Somebody who either doesn't know much about dressage, like I said, transferring in from maybe another discipline, like we'll just say the hunters, or, somebody who has limited access to a regular coach for whatever reason. So,
yep.
USDF, which is the United States Dressage Federation, has what we call very introductory tests, right?
Yep.
Introductory, what is it, ABC or 1, 2, 3?
ABC, yep.
Yep. And then the United States Equestrian Federation, which is our national governing body, or USEF, has what we call national level tests. They start at training level and they go through 4th level.
Yep.
And then there are the international tests, which are called FEI tests, and that starts at Prix St. George and goes up to Grand Prix. So hopefully, you know, anybody who's considering dressage has kind of done a little homework and understands this. So let's talk a little bit about the very, very, very introductory level tests. So we'll start off with those intro, ABC. So can you comment a little bit on the requirements at that lowest level as far as horse and riders' capabilities?
Well, first, I think everyone should go on USDF, and if you're thinking about a level, they can look at the tests, and
it's free, right?
Yeah, it's free. I'm not prepared for tonight because I was just trying to get on USDF, and now the website won't let me on. So there you go.
I might be able to bring it up on my end. Let me try.
But with USDF, you should look at the tests. And so if you're thinking, you're getting it too. I think their site is down because we're talking about this. But my answer would be look at the test. If you're thinking intro level, training level, 1st level, look at the purpose. So when you click on the test at the very top on the left, read what the purpose is. And so that would have been helpful. But for intro level, it's introductory to the horse or the rider. And so when you sign up for that, I think that's a great first step. And usually for intro A, it's just walk trot. And when I first started riding and showing, intro level were just walk trot classes. And now they've changed it that B and C are walk trot and canter. And I kind of think they should stick with walk trot, but I'm not on the committee. So there you go. And then, but same thing for each test, then you move up to training level. And I think there's a statement in the purpose, horse accepts the contact, you know, whereas at intro level, there's no acceptance of contact. And so I think those are so important for anyone who wants to show. I think it's also important for trainers like myself to go back and look at not just someone who's newly coming into the sport of dressage. And it has it for every level. The other thing is when you look at your tests that you get back, there is a little column that says directives, and it actually tells you what the judge is judging. So those are the things you should focus in on. You don't need a trainer to tell you that. Read them.
Read the test in general, right? Everything in the test. Movements and
read the test.
Directives on the movements. Because it says, I believe it says somewhere on there, like you said, you should be able to do this. So
yeah,
helpful. That's pretty straight up, pretty straightforward. So let's say they're just, let's say they're going to get their feet wet. They're going to do some walk, trot, canter work. They're going to start off with their first shows. Maybe they'll ride all 3. Can they? How many tests can they ride at a horse show? We'll say it's a weekend. We'll say it's a 2-day show. How many per day can you ride?
You can ride 3, and it has to be consecutive levels. There are 3 tests per level, but you can also ride intro and training level, or training level and first together. The other thing I want to add is, besides intro level, I've never ridden in them or a student ridden in them, but there are classes called opportunity classes. And from my understanding, USDF and show managers have offered this as a first step for someone who's interested in showing, but maybe don't want to pay for a membership, all the membership fees, and they can experience a horse show. But again, I want to say I don't know the rules. I'm not as familiar with it. So if anyone is interested in that, please go to the USDF website or go to read the price list and see what the rules are on that. And I think basically, if you wanted your scores to count towards your end awards or maybe a medal, they don't count if it's an opportunity class. But I think that's also a good first step as well. The opportunity class, intro, training level are great first steps.
So that's showing at a what we would call a recognized show. There are such things as schooling shows as well, less fees, less memberships involved. Sometimes they're 1 day, sometimes they're 2 day. But that might be a nice opportunity for somebody to, who's just getting started, just starting the showing and dressage, fees are usually reduced, right? Not nearly as expensive, which is nice.
Yeah, I definitely recommend a schooling show. It's casual. You don't have to wear the uniform. You can. I don't think you need to braid, but I think it's great practice that you probably should, just out of respect for the judge, brush your horse down, but you don't have to. We used to have a lot of schooling shows around us. I don't think they're being offered anymore. I think there's only one place, one facility that I can think of that's about an hour and 35 minutes, but we used to have them 10 minutes away, and it was great for anyone who was considering showing, and they could get their feet wet before actually all the expenses of a recognized show. You can sleep in your own bed. You don't have to pack everything for 3 days. It's just a day, and if you forgot something, it's 10 minutes away from our farm. It was amazing.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about this. So a schooling show is probably the best way to go for somebody who maybe doesn't have a coach and is really just their very first dressage show, kind of maybe going to ride intro. So, you talked about how you don't necessarily have to wear the outfit, as far as what we would call show clothes. So what about the horse in a schooling show atmosphere? Can they have training equipment on? Can they have, a lot of people like to horse with either brushing boots or polo wraps, or some people, especially coming out of the hunter jumper world, might have some sort of jumping boot that they have on their horse just to make sure the horse isn't whacking its legs, or bell boots. So is it okay if you're at a schooling show, your first show? Like what do you need to be aware of? What's kind of considered the norm? Can you use can you use a standing martingale or a running martingale, or what do they need to know? I mean, say they're coming from truly unknown.
I think you should use this as a step to showing. So me personally, I wouldn't use any illegal equipment.
Right.
I wouldn't use the bandages. You're trying to see what showing is about. That's also why I would recommend putting on the show clothes and braiding your horse, because then you can really see if you want to go to a recognized show. In terms of a real answer to that question, I'm not sure. I think that's up to management and the judge. I've never done that. I treat it, and I teach my students, it's been many years since we've gone to schooling shows.
Sure.
But if we ever get the opportunity to do it again, I wouldn't have them wear bandages. No standing, we don't use standing martingales, so I wouldn't even know how to put it on.
What about in the warm-up arena? Can they have boots on their horse in the warm-up arena? Or
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if your horse interferes, for sure, warm up with the boots, but make sure that you've asked before you get on your horse, maybe even the day before. Ask if you have a groom, if you have a show buddy, ask them if they can take the boots off. Don't assume people are going to do it, especially if you're with a team. And then if you're not coming with the team, then don't put the boots on, because getting on, getting off, or asking someone,
these people are not, the idea behind tonight is that somebody's not with a dressage barn or a training barn. They're coming from either their boarding barn or whatever, and they're not, they're kind of on their own. So yeah, I think the recommendation for those kinds of questions is to seek out and ask the show management what's considered acceptable, especially, truly dipping your foot into the ring for the first time, never having maybe experienced a dressage show, for sure, like you said, Megan, schooling
Mhm.
the best. And those show managers are going to be more used to what I would call a newbie, or new to the sport, new to showing. So,
And the other thing with the show managers, whether it's a schooling show or a recognized show, they're dealing with a lot and a lot of people and a lot of questions. So if you can ask your questions a week out, I realize sometimes as you're leading up to the show, your questions pop up and maybe even pop up that day. But so that way you can be better organized and put less stress on our show organizers. Try to email them or look up the rules if you're going to a recognized show. The other option, if you are going to a recognized show, look up the TD, which is a technical delegate, and they are fabulous. They're not just the show police, you know, because they're going around and making sure all the rules are being followed, but you can, you know, the day before, if they're there, sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, but during the show, that is the individual you want to go to and ask all of your questions regarding rules, whether it's about your outfit, if the color of your coat is appropriate, your shirt, if you if coats are called, if your shirt is okay, any to saddles, bridles, bits, equipment. That's the individual you want to go to the day of the show.
now
They're amazing.
if it's a schooling show, are they going to have a technical delegate?
No, there's no technical delegate, so it'll be the show organizer. But remember, these show organizers, that's the other thing. You should bring them a cupcake or water, or, you know, just ask them if they need any help or volunteer, because let me tell you, I never want to organize a show, but I
A lot
am
of work.
so, yeah, they're so incredibly hardworking, and all the volunteers. I mean, not just one person puts on that show. I mean, the grounds people to the tests, being, you know, the runners of the tests to the scribes. I mean, all of those individuals are volunteering, and the score, sometimes they're volunteers. And so I think it's really important to realize that. And so be careful how many questions you have and when you are questioning them, and come in with a smile on your face, you know, like these, if we don't treat our volunteers well, we're not going to have shows. So definitely, you know, and just out of respect for their time, try to be organized. So come with those questions, you know, as early as you can. I get it. You know, the day of the show, things are popping up, but try to, you know, don't come with a loaded question. And also try to get your entries perfect.
Yeah.
Pay them. Pay them before you arrive.
Read the show bill. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
times show bills that they'll even tell you, you know, some will say USDF rules are to be followed, but you know, like you said, take your time, read the rules, know the rule book, read the tests, understand what's required. So let's say that you're getting your feet wet. You've shown at least one schooling show. You know, you've decided rated shows are not for me yet. I want to get a couple schooling shows under my belt. I kind of get it. I sort of get it. Like, so this is a bit of a loaded question, but let's say they have been showing the first show. Let's say they just showed intro A and B. Just they wanted to just go walk trot done. You know, it was a totally out of their element. Never having done this before, didn't even want to bother with canter. So let's say the second show they decided to do intro B and C. So they've entered a class with canter, and you know, let's say that's gone well. And so they're trying to decide, they're going to go to their third show. Now they're like, well, training levels, walk, trot, canter too. Like, how do I know when I should maybe stop riding intro level, walk, trot, canter and move into training level, walk, trot, canter? So again, this is the idea somebody doesn't really have a consistent coach available. Maybe it's somebody transitioning. Maybe it's somebody who's ridden their whole life in the hunter world and, has been jumping 3-6. So clearly, a good rider, but just doesn't know a lot about dressage. So, what would your recommendation be for, let's just say, moving from intro C to training level 1 or 1 and 2?
I think, to be honest, it's reading the purpose. In my mind, I haven't read the purpose. I apologize. But I think that's really important. I personally don't recommend intro level that often. I don't have a real answer other than regarding to awards and regionals, championships, because there aren't year-end awards at intro level. As far as I know, there might be in the GMOs, but I'm not new to the sport, so I usually start at training level if I have a young horse, and so the goals are more intense and focused towards year-end awards. So that's my answer. So if you want to get into it and have a goal of qualifying for regionals, I would be showing training level, and then you can experience a regionals at training level if you wanted to.
Sure. So again, the idea is go online, find the test, USDF.org, read the directives, read through the test, and maybe practice a test once or twice and see if that's something you're comfortable with, right? And then go from there.
That's for sure. And I would say, once you've read through the test and you feel that you can accomplish all of the movements, not 80%, not half, all of them, and then put the test together, memorize the test, run through the test. And remember, the first time you run through it, I can tell you with any new horse I have, it usually doesn't go well. So that's not the one to judge. Go through it, 3 to 5 times and say, is that a comfortable test for me? And sometimes, you might ride through training 1 and you're like, ooh. And then you run through training 2 and you're like, that's my test. So, you don't have to ride training 1 first and then training 2 and then training 3. Find the test that fits you and your horse the best. What's the test that you flow through? That's what I always recommend to my clients. But make sure you run through it like 3 to 5 times, and then decide like, okay, that's the test. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah, that's great advice. So,
and
go ahead.
Let's say you picked first 3, right? So like you're on the fence, you're like, I think I can do training level. And then you look at first level and you're like, oh, 1-1 looks really good. But then you move on to 1-3. And let's say the leg yields, you can't figure them out. Or maybe the lengthenings, you can't bring your horse back. Don't ride the test. Don't do it. If your goal should be for showing, in my opinion, there are 2 things. Number 1, that when you're training 110% at home. So that means you should be able to ride through the test smoothly. But your expectations of the show should be you're only going to get 80% of the test. So if you can only ride 80% of the test well, don't ride it at a horse show. It's only going to get worse, meaning tense, or maybe you're not able to even accomplish the movements. My other recommendation is, so let's say you want to show a training level, so then be riding the level above you at home, that you're schooling it. You may not have it polished, so you want to be riding first level. And you're like, yeah, my leg yields I need to work on, or my horse doesn't come quite back, but you're schooling it at home. Show the level that you're that you're schooling at home. That's a huge recommendation. Don't show the level that you're schooling at home and that you don't have things polished, or maybe you don't even have a movement. Because going to a horse show, you can hope and prayer all you want. It's not going to happen. It's not. I've done it. Please take my advice. I don't recommend it. So yeah, those are my 2 recommendations.
So the other thing we haven't really said, we've touched on, look up like the rule book, look up, read the test, but I mean, how do you know? So let's say you go and you've ridden intro, ABC, and there's 2 of you in the class and you're either first or second. So you're like, okay, that's great, but maybe in one test I beat hey Connor, maybe in one test I beat the other person in the class, and then in another test they beat me. And so how do you know, okay, I'm doing great? Like just placing first or second out of 1 or 2 people, does that help you know how to move up? Is there other things you should look at? I mean,
I don't think so. I think another big thing is the placing. I mean, we all want to win, let's face it. But I don't always think that's the most important thing in terms of moving up, because you can't compare yourself to any other riders. You can't compare your horse to any other horses. You don't know what their history is. I mean, because what if you just found out that, the horse just came off the trailer out of the pasture and just beat you? You don't know. And the judge is only judging what is happening in front of them. And a cat could jump out of a tree and,
skydivers.
well, then, skydivers, and it could ruin 3 movements of your test. It's great if you're winning, but you might not be ready for the next level. Like, let's say you're at 3rd level and you're cleaning up and you went to regionals and now you're thinking of going to 4th level, but that's a huge jump from 3rd to 4th level. The level of collection, the degree of engagement, that now you have to be able to ride some tempi changes, whereas you went from riding just a single change. Half passes, there's schooling pirouettes. And so if you're winning at one level and you decide I'm ready to move up, but you can't do 3 of those movements, you're not going to be successful. It's the same thing as what I was telling you before. You may not be ready. The main thing I think is, number 1, do you feel like you put in a good test? Because I've had many tests that I felt was great, and then I went and got my score sheet and the judge didn't think so. I mean, that matters. And if you have a coach, I know we're talking about that we don't have a coach, so I guess that doesn't matter. Maybe ask your neighbor to video, because a lot of times those judges are right. I know we complain a lot about judges, and they are human, right? They do miss things. They're looking down. There's a bee in the hut, like, hey, they can't see everything. However, I think, I mean, I take a lot of videos, and you can have anybody at the horse. You could have your mother, you can invite your spouse, your friend will probably go to the horse show with you. Ask them to video and then compare it to your test. I've done that, and I was like, dang it, that judge was right. Like, oh, I see what, after. But I do think too, though, I've had great rides and they've scored poorly. I've had terrible rides and they score. The feeling I felt, I've had great scores from it. So I think when you have a good ride, and you have to look past the excuses, and when you've had a bad ride. So I think that's most important in determining that. Also, can you do all of the movement well at home? And then expect whatever your weaker movement or whatever you're working on might be better. But if it's weaker, it might not go so well at the horse show. Expect 80%. So that's my answer.
Okay, you
Winning is
touched exactly
everything.
on what I want to talk about. So 25 years ago, scoring really well in a class was 62, 65%. 65, 67% was like, wow, amazing. So, you know, we've talked about read the test, read the directives. We haven't really talked about the scoring scale and expectations of scores before you move up. I think we should talk a little bit about that. You know, do you move up at a 50%? Do you have to wait until you hit 80% to move up? Like, where, how do you know? For somebody who just doesn't have a daily coach, you know, to help them with this, maybe it's somebody coming in from, you know, another discipline. And, you know, of course, now we have Western dressage. So we can have people who have ridden Western their whole life say, I want to come in and ride some of these Western dressage tests. Now, the tests aren't the traditional ones you're going to find on USDF, but it's a similar concept. You go to the Wisconsin, or not Wisconsin, sorry, that's a nod to you, Megan, but the Western Dressage Association of America, they have the tests written very much like USDF, and they have directives, and it's the same scoring scale. So how do we know, like, just based on our tests and the scores and the comments, how do we know, okay, this is good, this is not good? Where, how do they know this?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, because I think the more exposed we are to good riding and visuals, YouTube and watching it, because how do you know what a 6 is? How do you know what a 7 is? How do you know what a 10 should look like? You know,
Well, what is a
you know, and I
six
think
stand for? What is 6 good? Is 5 good? Is 7 good? What's good? You know, what?
good is an 8. So what you need to do is go to USDF and look up the judging, you know, go to the judging, and you need to look at what the scale is, you know, 0 to 10. And what does that mean? Satisfactory. I think a 6 is satisfactory. You need to, thank you.
Thank you. Data is amazing. Big shout out. We're going to leave that sticker up so people can go check out the channel. Data is amazing. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt, Megan, but we appreciate the support.
Yeah, so you want to go to the rule book, you want to go to USDF, and you want to find out what the scale. But I don't think that's very helpful. I mean, to be honest, you know, okay, great, 8 is good. But what does good look like? You know, and I think as we're growing as riders and trainers and judges, our eye starts to develop, and that's part of the learning process. You're not going to know what the heck you're doing. That's why you're riding at intro level. It's introductory, but you want to, USDF also has a great CD that they put out every year, and it's through the levels. And so you can see a rider and a horse and rider combination going through the test. And there's also USDF puts on judging forums. I haven't seen one for a while, but you can go and you can see 70 learning judges, or even judges that are trying to go up through their levels and become licensed. I think they have to do that every so often as well, just to maintain their judge's card. I'm not sure on the judging rules as much.
Continuing education is now required, yes. Which is
yeah, and so it's fabulous. But you can have 70 judges, and one, depending on where the judge is sitting, the angle changes, their perspective changes. That's the other thing you need to think about. So if one judge is judging a shoulder in down the long side, and they're sitting at M or H, they have a great view on angle. But the judge that's sitting across the arena, you know, may not be able to tell the angle. And so that's something you have to think about. And obviously, if you're riding intro level, or
thank you, Bell Vlog. Appreciate
yay!
Yay, everybody check out the Bell Vlog. Thank you.
You're not thinking about
Again.
that.
We appreciate the support.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, where the judge sits, they're going to have a completely different view and a completely different perspective than where maybe a different one sits. Now, if you're at a schooling show, you're probably not going to have more than one judge. So your judge is going to be at C.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about a judges forum. So
Oh, yeah,
in the judges
yep.
forum, you can have 70 judges with a different score as well as a comment in a different reason why. And so remember that too when you're going to a horse show or a schooling show, that it's also, you're just going for one person's opinion and you don't know if they've ever seen a 10. Have they ever seen the best riders in the world? You know, what is, and that's really what the scale is. A 10 is an Olympic rider. A 0, it never happened. And then everything in between. And so we need to think about that. You know, what really is that in their mind, in my mind, and that as you are more exposed and your knowledge and your eye becomes more developed, you understand what those are. So I think the first step is read what does those scores actually mean. Get on USDF, get on YouTube, look at videos, and potentially go to a judges forum. So yeah.
Well, so that's a lot of money, and a lot of people just can't do that. But you touched on the fact, you know, so USDF, even USEF have some lower cost memberships that will allow you to access a lot of USDF has a huge amount of educational information available to its membership. USEF has a fan membership. I believe it's like $20 or $25 for the year. So yeah, but here on YouTube, there are tons and tons of videos, and USDF, yourself, you have a channel, you are a USDF certified instructor. So, you know, someone searching on USDF certified instructor is actually going to find probably our, I believe we're top trending for that search phrase, but you know, they'll find you and they can find your channel. There's also tons of video information put out there by other certified instructors, as well as, you know, probably maybe USDF, but they kind of show you exactly what you're talking about, how to run the tests at each level. You yourself have put out a number of videos lately where you've gone through and ridden a whole bunch of tests and you know, have shown those as well. So if you can't afford to join one of the big, you know, USEF or USDF, you know, if you're truly just getting your foot in this, YouTube is a great resource.
Oh, YouTube is huge. But if you're going to pick a membership, I would highly recommend USDF, because the other thing I forgot was it's called eTracks. And there's so many videos, and they also have modules, which are really cool, that you can even test out at the end. And I think they call it a USDF University. I highly recommend them because it shows all the requirements and whether you're working with an instructor or whether you're going to a horse show, what the instructor and the judge are looking for. So definitely recommend the eTracks. But if you can't afford that, YouTube, there's no excuse. YouTube, there's everything on YouTube.
Connor. Thank you, Connor. JC, shout out to your channel as well. Your channel is awesome. Thank you to our super supporters. We really appreciate the support, you guys. We really do, very much. So it really helps us keep doing these live streams. So yeah, you were just saying, you know, USDF's got, they're a nonprofit in the United States, and their focus is a lot on education. And we should mention they have taken over the judges' education and training from the United States Equestrian Federation. So, like you said, if you can afford to join them, they have a huge amount of educational materials available to their members. Like, it's enormous.
It's huge.
So, thank you, Connor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate that. So yeah, I think that's, you know, Megan, you brought up really great information. You know, if you can join, And sometimes you can't necessarily afford to join directly through USDF, but you had mentioned before what's called a GMO, or a group member organization. For instance, in your state, it is the Wisconsin Dressage and Combined Training Association. To your south, it's the Illinois Dressage. So they can actually go on the USDF website and find what's called a GMO, or a group member organization, in their area. And they can join them, and it will get them a membership, what's called a GMO membership, to USDF, which will allow them to access that educational material, right?
Yeah.
So that's another way they might be able to kind of slide into the USDF at a reduced rate, while also supporting their local club. And a lot of times those local clubs are the source of what we've already talked about, our schooling shows. So it's a great way to, find the schooling shows in your area, get some support, get your foot in the door in USDF, but also possibly find resources to help you learn about dressage. So,
and
got somebody. Go ahead.
Just an ad that I thought of is IDCTA, the Illinois GMO, used to put on a schooling series with a championship. Yeah, I don't know with this year, but yeah, it's so cool. It was such a great opportunity.
We can't talk about this year.
We can't. Yeah, sorry.
There's nothing normal going on this year, so we'll just take this year out of it and pretend it's a normal year. Any other year but 2020, right? This year doesn't count.
Yeah,
we'll just pretend it's any other normal year. But yeah, okay. So you were saying, they did a schooling show, or they usually do.
I highly recommend that, because that's it's more casual, but there's still rules, and it just gets your foot in the door for a recognized show. And with the recognized show, you can qualify for regionals, or you can just compete without having goals as well, and just getting your tests and getting your comments back. I mean, the options that we have available to us are endless.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I just checked the USDF site again, still down. But it's that's unfortunate, because I could very much I could bring them in. Let me see if USEF is up. I'm sure theirs is up as well. Of course, it helps if I don't write USDF when I'm trying to look for USEF. But okay, so they do. So hang on a second here. Let me see. Bear with me, folks. We are going to attempt to show the website on the screen. So,
and they do have a learning center. I actually haven't looked through it, but up on the top you can see there's like a learning center, which is really cool.
Right here. So here we go, Learning Center, and there's an introduction to breed and disciplines, start riding, youth programs, lettering programs, educational partners. So these are all an excellent start. Again, that's under the Learning Center. So they could go to here, introduction to breeds and disciplines, and just go from there. They've got, it looks like, a breeds and discipline pages. So this is our national governing body. This is the organization that governs the equestrian sports for the Olympics. We should make that part known, but here we go. Look, disciplines. We've got dressage right here, right?
Yeah.
So this would be a great way to learn more. And look, emergency relief, $20 USDF fan membership with access to health insurance. That's really great. It's a inexpensive way to join the organization. Okay, so dressage, obviously they're talking about what's going on in the world, unfortunately, but so there's definitely information about the sport of dressage here, and they talk about the USDF as well. But here you go. There's the programs, all the programs through the USEF, and look what we got. Dressage tests. So this is where people could go and learn about what we referred to them as the national tests.
Yep. And if you can, click on them and then show them where they can find the purpose.
Absolutely. So, unfortunately,
You can't.
well, let's try. I think we're gonna, yeah. Okay, so let's.
Yep.
This is a little bit over most people's head for what we're talking about because this is an FEI test. But we're gonna go to the FEI
Oh
website.
yeah, it's the same though. You know, it's the
It's,
same layout. Yeah, that's
yep.
perfect. Click on
So
it.
let's go ahead and look at. Let's just look at the first one. That's Precinct George. You can still see this, right, Megan?
Yeah, kind of. It's
Okay.
small.
Well, yep. I'm
But
going to zoom in. So this
oh,
is
I don't
an
think there's
FEI
a
test.
purpose at the top though. But you know,
Yeah.
on the upper left, there's usually a little box that gives you a purpose, but you can see the middle box.
Unfortunately, not
It,
here. But at least there's the directives, right?
no, it's fabulous.
So this is an international test. This would be, the beginning of the top levels of the sport, Precinct George. So, it doesn't have the directives here, but it does have, or the purpose, but it has the directives for each movement, which is helpful, right?
Yep.
National level tests will be right similar to this, right? So
Yeah, they're just like that. Yeah.
it's
It's
unfortunate
just
we
making
can't
the
see
purpose.
the
Yeah.
USDF site. I don't know what's going on if they're, but yeah, I mean, this is, so even let's say this is a training level test. You're going to have a very similar experience looking at a training level test. There's going to be the movements per line. There's going to be a directive, right? So that's helpful. Okay. Well, it's unfortunately we can't see some of the tests, but yeah, USDF's got, definitely more information here. So let me see if I can figure out how to stop sharing this. Okay, go back to larger screens. There we go. Okay, so yeah, well, it's unfortunate we can't go on the USDF site, but they are the.
But I think they get the idea, and then that way they can go there and check it out. It's such a great resource. We have so many resources.
Yep. So let's say that somebody's coming out of the hunter world. They're going to bring a hunter. Maybe they've had a horse they've been showing in the peak of the horse's career. They were showing in the working hunters, the 4-foots. Then they moved the horse down to the 3/6 division, and then the horse is getting a little older. They kind of dabbled in 3-foot, and now they're like, I think it's time to stop jumping the horse. I want to go ahead and do dressage. Can they ride their horse at the lower levels in their hunter saddle if that's what the riders used to riding in? It fits the horse. They need to go out and buy like a brand new dressage saddle to kind of dabble.
I don't
maybe
think so in a schooling show, but that's definitely a question for a TD. I only have dressage saddles.
Definitely look at the rule book, right?
Yeah, I would look at the rule book.
This is where you need to go into the rule book and look. And the rule book is going to be on the USEF site. And the dressage section is what is that? Section 121, I think, Megan?
Sounds about right.
There's a content table of contents. Look it up. Look under equipment. There, it could be in the general section, but I'm sure there's a lot of guidance on there for, and the rule book's going to tell you for, a recognized show. And if you're going to a schooling show, that's a question for the show manager, right? So it's an easy question for the show manager. So those are the kinds of things. A little research ahead of time, maybe a quick question to the show manager if it's a schooling show. Pretty easy, I think. So,
yep.
How do they know, like you mentioned, find the test that kind of suits you, but is there a reason to like, oh, I don't like this test? Do they absolutely need to try writing a test? Maybe they don't like, let's say they don't like first level test 2. Maybe they're happy writing first level test 1. They want to just skip and write first level test 3. Maybe there's something in first level test 2. They're just like, I just don't like this. Can they just skip? skip that and go,
Yes.
I only want to ride first level test 1 and first level test 3?
Yep, you can skip it.
Okay, that's awesome. So what if they say, I want to ride and I want to bring my little daughter. Can they both ride a horse at a horse show? Can they both ride the same horse?
You can at a schooling show, a recognized show, but not at a regionals. Only one rider can ride at a regionals or a CDI. But you can only ride 3 consecutive classes. So remember that you
Consecutive classes. It's 3 per day.
well, it's only 3 per day, but like one rider can ride training level and then the other rider can ride first level. But you can't have someone riding training level riding pre-St. George. They have to be 2 consecutive levels.
On the same horse, or if they had 2 horses? What if they have 2 horses? Can they ride? Let's say they have.
You were saying one horse, but yeah, if it is one horse, like if each person had a different horse, that horse can only be ridden 3 times at a horse show or at a recognized horse show. I don't know about a schooling show, I think, but I would think they were the same rules. And 3 times, and if you are only riding one level, great. If you're riding 2 different levels, they have to be consecutive. I do know those rules.
Yeah. So yeah, you can't go, well, I'm going to take my horse and I want to ride training level test 2. I want to ride first level test 3, and I want to try second level test 1. They can't do that.
Nope, you can't do that.
Show. What about, can you say, well, so the show is Saturday and Sunday. I want to ride training and first level on Saturday, and then on Sunday, I want to ride first level and second level. Can they do that?
Nope.
It's good stuff to know, right?
Yeah.
Because, you might not know. In the hunter world, it could be totally different. Maybe in the Western world, if you're coming out riding Western, maybe they've been riding quarter horses for 20 years. Or maybe they've been showing on the Morgan or the Arabian circuit and it's a little different. These are the kinds of things, again, rule book, right? I mean, it's pretty boring, but it has a lot of those answers for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So anything else you can think of for, again, this would be for somebody who just doesn't have that regular support back at their barn. Maybe they're just too far away to be able to take regular lessons or clinic regularly with somebody. That could, be very rural, or again, could be somebody who has ridden their whole life in a different discipline, who's just wanting to make that jump over. Any other thoughts on that?
I think have fun. I think people get stuck on winning and getting a higher score, which is all great, but just have fun with the showing and gain mileage. Go out there, make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Usually the judges want you to do well. So when you go off course or something happens, everybody's like, oh man, but all it is learning, and you have to make those mistakes. You got to go out there and do some things not so great and learn from them. But just have fun, read the rules, make sure you can do all the movements at home, and then just enjoy it. The fact that you get to ride your horse is awesome.
Absolutely. So, just, quick question. Anybody out in the audience? We've got a few people out there. I know mostly listening, but if somebody's got a question, we're coming up on the 1 hour mark. We'll probably try to wrap this up in that hour mark. So if you've got any questions for Megan on this, even anything kind of horse related, we will tackle it if it's within our realm of knowledge. Thank you very much. I'm doing good. Doing really well.
Great.
So appreciate that. But I'm just trying to think of any final questions on it. First horse show, again, I think kind of a wrap up of this. go ahead and stick your toe in the water by trying to go to a schooling show. Read the rule book, do a little research, do a little, maybe a little YouTube research. Obviously, if you can, ideally, you're taking some lessons from a professional such as yourself, Megan, or a clinic situation. You know, if it's a funding problem and you just can't regularly do that, if you can find clinics nearby, you can at least go and watch or audit. That you learn. You can join a local club in the area and, you know, make friends to help each other out. You know, I have some friends who live in a very rural area, and they're all, you know, hour to 2 hours away from each other. They all have horses. They don't have any regular instruction in the area, but they make it a habit to try to, you know, talk with each other online via, you know, something like a Skype. And then they also try to help each other out by kind of organizing a couple times a year to get a clinician in that maybe travels to each of them. So instead of them having to haul into one area, they kind of try to arrange it so the clinician can kind of, you know, maybe take a weekend and get to each of their barns a little bit within reason. So I think
that's fantastic.
But that's getting out and kind of trying to reach out and meet people, and those clubs are always helpful as well. So, trying to think. Let me see here if there's anybody's got any questions. It doesn't look like it. So Megan, let's talk quickly about how people find you, where your information is, your social info, your website info, all that good stuff. Right?
All right. You can check me out on Lindinhof.com. I'm also on Facebook, Lindinhof Equine Sports Centrum. You can call me or text me, 608-445-8531. You can email me, lindinhofllc@gmail.com. And YouTube channel is Lindinhof1. And we have all sorts of videos out there. And if you want, just contact me. I'm more than happy to help anyone.
Excellent. Well, it looks like we got a bunch of new people on. So quick, you know, shout out. Does anybody have any final questions for Megan? Again, some housekeeping stuff. If I haven't already put it in the description below, I will definitely make sure I have all of Megan's information that she was just telling you guys down in the description box. You know, appreciate anybody who's supporting this, watching this after it's saved onto YouTube. We appreciate if you can watch with the ads on. YouTube likes to get its dollars out of all of us, and it helps us keep this content free. So we appreciate, Megan, you coming by. I think we're going to try, hopefully, to get another one of these live streams scheduled for next week. We always want to know if anybody has topics they're really interested in us covering. She provided her contact information. You can reach out to her at any of those. Let her know what you might be interested in hearing. You can reach out through my channel here on YouTube. My contact info is available on my channel, Opinionated Horsewoman at gmail.com. I'm also on Facebook. My page is under the same name as the channel, Opinionated Horsewoman. Send me a message. I'm on Instagram under the same name. You can find me there. So we would love to know, you know, what information people are looking for, what questions they have, they want us to talk about, topics, etc. Right, Megan? Got anything else?
That's right. No, thank you so much for having me. I love talking about horses, and if anyone has any questions, shoot us a message and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, well, let's give them a few more minutes here, because there's definitely some new people popping in right now. So how's your you know, horse business going this year? I understand the month of June, finally the horse shows have opened up. People are able to go out and do some horse shows. How's that going? Have you gotten off the farm?
Well, it's different. Business is very different. It's hard. I mean, I think everyone has lost business. Mine is not any different, but the horse shows were very different. And even between the two horse shows that I went to, I think the show organizers are under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure through USDF. I think with that pressure, it's the fear that our competitions are going to be taken away from USDF. And so, very different atmospheres, and wearing a mask is hard, like to coach through the mask, and just remembering to put one on when we're around other people. It's an outdoor event.
Usually,
At
least
yeah,
I suppose some places could have them indoors, but yeah, generally you're outside.
the two shows I went to were outside. One of the show organizers did not want us taking any photos or posting any photos, and I find that really disappointing. I mean, this is a special time. It's might be a new show. It was a first show for some of my clients, or a first level, and we want to take a picture without a mask on. We're not by anyone, and that was a little bit hard and disappointing. And we want to celebrate our milestones, so we're not being unsafe in that moment, I feel. And so it's very different. But everyone needs to stay safe. We need to follow the rules, and it's what management wants. It's weird to come to a show and have your temperature taken and to sign a release form every morning. That, because we already send in a lot of paperwork. So that was different, but I don't mind the temperature, because then, we're all trying to be healthy, but the signing of the release forms is a bit much. So, but I think we have to everyone has to be empathetic towards one another, because I'm grateful to the show managers who are putting on the shows, because I don't put on the shows. I would never put on a show. And they've had to spend more money to put on the show, follow more policies and rules. And I think they're under a lot of pressure. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Megan, I have a little idea here.
Yeah.
See what you think. I have found your page.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh. What are you doing?
Found you on Facebook, YouTube, right?
Oh, there we are. Yeah.
So, yeah, you've done a whole bunch of videos. Let's see. So we're looking at the newest, which is great. You can get my she's a little.
Oh, yeah, we even have videos of us in the show arena. I love having all of these videos, because I can look at 2 years ago, 10 years ago, and it's fun to compare and see how the horses have changed. But there is a lot of videos. There's indoors, there's outdoors, there's clinics, there's just little snippets of training. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So anyone in here we want to look at? Whoa, sorry. I have to apologize. It's going to flash a little because it's, I'm trying to share my screen here and it's a little cranky. Wow. I mean, some of these videos are really cool. Anything in here in particular you're super proud of? I mean, I think you're probably proud of all of them, but anything that stands out at you? Great videos.
Well, right now, I'm proud of a lot of them, but if you go up, I just competed a horse. His name is Pammy, and the last 2 shows I competed him at Grand Prix. I think if you go, I don't see it, but if you go to like recent or on the side, but it's one of the newest videos, but I'm really proud of.
Would be the newest public videos. They may be public, I guess.
They should be public because I posted it. Well, I'm not the best.
Well, the most recent were 2 weeks ago, right here.
With who?
Your most recent. You got 2 months ago and 2 weeks ago.
Oh, go to the side and go to home. Oh no, is it home? Hold on, I'm here. Go to history.
Well, this is my history, hon, not your history.
Well, then go to my library.
Okay.
And is it there?
Well, it's not going to be this is my library, so it's going to be here in videos because this is your page.
Well, then how do you go to my channel? Oh, yeah. So what
Yep.
you are on are you under videos?
Yes, ma'am.
How about that? Yeah, it isn't here.
You might not have them as public. You might have them as not necessarily private, but you might have them unlisted. So where they're not going to show on your channel, but if you provide a link, they would be there. So.
Okay, well, I have to change that. Then I'll have to make it public. I don't know. Do I have a video of a test?
Like you had a really great video of yourself riding in a clinic with Olympic rider Stefan Peters. Because I posted that link on my channel for people to see your channel. I'm trying to remember where I found it.
That might be 2 years. See, this is not all the videos.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Can you actually, you know what would be,
with Stefan?
You know what would be more fun? Is there's a freestyle at Del Mar at 2:17:18, and there's music. I think the freestyles are great. So the date, it was 2 years ago. See, this isn't all the videos.
Yeah, they're not all public. So
yeah, but this one is, because I'm looking at it. It's freestyle Del Mar 2:17:18.
Okay, I'm 4 years ago, so hang on, I gotta get a little closer here. Well, you're gonna be able to see all your stuff where you can only see what you made public.
No, I'm looking at it.
This one right here. Del Mar 2:17:18.
Yeah, click on that one and then turn up the music. This freestyle was designed by Melanie McIsaac. It's MSM Freestyles, and she designs all my freestyles. So it's a really cool. I got to compete in California at a CDI. And this is our freestyle. Can you turn up the music? Because otherwise it's not as exciting.
I don't know how that works through the video.
Oh, bummer. Yep, he's doing his pirouette, and then we go straight, and then we go into a half pass. It's just beautiful, beautiful music. It's ballerina music, because he's a ballerina.
Well, I'm hearing it, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then we go across and do a line of fours, I think. 1, 2, 3. Nope, we're doing threes. So the next line will be fours. Whee! And then we come down the center line and we ride a half pass to the left into the walk. We're zooming around.
This is fun. I mean, it's nice for you to describe the movements for people.
Yep, and then we walk, because it's a good change for him to have a break. You'll notice we did the canter work and the pirouette like right out of the box. And also it's really important, the placement. Obviously, like, we're not where a judge would be, so the view is a lot different, but like our changes used to be our weakest, and we're going away from the judges. And so they would see his hind end and count. And so it's important to know where you're placing things. Right now we're doing a serpentine, and we went from collected walk to extended walk, and now I'm picking him up and we're going to go to the trot. And this piece, or part of the music right here when we pick up the trot, was actually what this freestyle was designed around, because this music really fit his trot. And Mel came for a clinic, and she was like, do the zigzag, and his trot work is really good, and he just floats like a ballerina. He's a really wonderful horse. And then I think we go across and ride an extension away from the judge. Oh no, it's the shoulder ends, excuse me. We do the extensions towards. So he does a shoulder in right, comes across the arena, and a shoulder in left. And these are required movements. Oh, look at him. Isn't he great? He's so
Yeah.
awesome. He's one of the best horses I've ever owned. And
His
then
ears are flopping. He looks very happy. Woo, look at that. Woohoo.
he's happy. Every day he gets to spend with mom, he's happy. And now we pick up the canter. And this movement coming up is super hard. We go across on a short diagonal and we ride a pirouette to the left first. And then we immediately change and ride a pirouette to the right. So straight and then boom, change. And then now I have to squeak in a pirouette to the right, which is super hard. Pirouettes are hard enough, but then to do a short diagonal. And then what do? We trot and then we ride. I ride the trot extension towards the judge because he gets a little wide behind in his extension. So we didn't really want to show that off to the judges. And then we turn across and I think we ride a half pass. He has lovely half pass work. And it also helps keep him uphill. He wants to be a little bit more horizontal. So the movements, it's really important to utilize the movements to help him out. There he is. Look at him. He's so handsome. And then we ride one more. I think this is a half pass. And then we pick up the canter heading straight towards the judge. And then we ride, I think we ride the tempies and then we're done. Oh, tempies and then an extension and then we're done. Let's see what happens. No, so we ride the extension now and then we ride the tempies next. So it'll be a line of twos headed towards the judge. Here he goes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And this was such a thrill. This was such a moment for me. I hope my horse had a fun time, but to be able to compete in California and against some of the best riders in our country, and just to be in an arena with so much history, really was a special time for me. I don't get that opportunity often, so I loved every minute of it. I had a smile on my face every time I rode down center line. So it was really fun to share that with him because he's not a very competitive horse. He's a mama's boy and he loves anytime he gets to spend time with me, he's happy and he's like, okay, mom. And he has a heart of gold. He tries so hard. He's such a great horse. That was such a fun test.
That's fun. Do you have anything else in here with him? Let's see.
I don't actually. There's another one. It's further back. It's at the Midwest Horse Fair, and that was with a horse called No Doubt.
Oh yeah. I think I saw that one. So hang on. Let's go in and do this.
Oh, and there's two that I would recommend. There's 2011 Midwest Frisian Currying demo, and that was a beautiful freestyle. I actually picked how to train it. Well, I didn't pick the music. Melanie did. Excuse me, Melanie. I'm sorry, but I rode to the music first before Charlotte did and made it famous. I think that's the same music.
Some freestyles here.
Yeah, but I would that's from 8 years ago, 2011. It's labeled Lindinhof 2011 Midwest Frisian Currying demo, and that one's really fun because it's not a show. It's a demo for at the Frisian inspection. Oh, keep going. There it is, right there in the middle. You see in that red coat? Yeah, hit that. And that's, I think, if it's the freestyle I'm thinking of, it's amazing. Yeah, there she is. Look at her. And this horse, I called her Jewella. Her owner called her Jewel, and she's owned by Sue and Rick Neipert. And she was a wonderful Frisian mare who was a brood mare. Oops. We're doing a levad there. Yeah.
That's
So
not in
this,
a normal test.
no, that's not a test. This is a demo, people. This is not a horse show. But it's written like a test. Is it how to train a dragon music?
I'm not even hearing music, so.
You're not? Oh, well, anyway, you get to enjoy I did ride this to music and the costume, and Sue loved to dress me up in costume. But this actually was my favorite costume out of all of them. But this mare, she was a 6-year-old broodmare when I got her, and she hadn't been started under saddle. She'd actually been driven, only walk, trot. So when I asked her to canter, she thought she was doing things wrong. But I trained her all the way to Grand Prix, but I only showed her I1. And I also taught her how to levad. She was such a cool mare. I was so blessed to have her for, I think, 6 years.
This looks like fun. Looks like you guys are having fun. Now I'm hearing a little music.
Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, oh, look at her change. Oh my God. This is awesome. See, this is why we take all the videos.
Yep.
Let me see if I can find Huey while you're, no.
Yeah, there was some Huey stuff in there.
Yeah, there is. The next one I would look at. Yeah, look at her go. Oh my God.
And counter canter is something required where they have to hold the opposite lead. So people, if they don't know.
Look at her. Oh, she's fantastic. Look at her. I haven't watched this video in a long time. Yep, and she was super at half pass.
Yeah.
Look at that.
She must have scored well, very well at half pass.
In one of our, I still remember it because she helped me get my bronze bar. She scored I think a 77% at a 3rd level freestyle.
Wow.
It was a pretty fantastic freestyle. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. But this is something fun you can do. I mean, you can't wear a costume well, you can if you ride a pas de deux, I believe. But you have to wear the competition uniform. But this is fun to do. With the Frisians, and I'm really lucky to have such a supportive client, Sue Neipert. It's fun to show.
What's her barn called? She raises Frisians. What are they? What is her barn name?
Meadows Gate Frisians. And she breeds fantastic Frisians. Yeah, there she is.
So people can go on your channel and watch this back at their own leisure. They'll hear the video music. I don't think it works very well through StreamYard.
No, I don't hear anything.
Yeah. So how long did you ride in this exhibit?
Well, what does the time say on it? I think most of them are 5 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes are the freestyles.
Looks like
so this is 5 minutes and 29 seconds. We don't have to watch the whole, the whole thing.
She got a little wild there.
She got wild. She would get wild. Canter was hard. Changes are hard. It was hard.
So you said we can go back and
I would go back. It's called Lindinhof, No Doubt, and Megan McIsaac performing. So that was 9 years ago. Yeah, keep going down.
Yep.
Yeah, go down. Keep going. Way down.
Yeah, it's loading. Here's Albrecht. Let's see here. Lord Loxley.
Oh, keep going. You're getting closer. Way down.
Here's okay, let's see here. Yes, a second. Here we go.
There's the orange one. There you go. And this is also another freestyle choreographed and designed by Melanie. And this was to Star Wars. It was such a cool freestyle, and I actually still remember riding this freestyle. And just to let you all know something about this. So about 6 minutes before this ride, I actually got off Jewel, and I was riding a pas de deux to Lady Marmalade, and I was wearing a corset and a boa and black riding pants. And I had 6 minutes between the two rides to chase. Actually, no, maybe I rode first on Huey. Sorry, this was 9 years ago. So under this suit that I'm wearing is the corset. So I'm riding this, but I didn't have my stock tie pinned down. And so in some of this work, you're going to see my stock tie, which never happens in the competition arena because I have safety pins pinning it down. And this is the reason why I pin my stock tie down right here, this ride. But under this, so after this ride, I had to change, and I had 6 minutes to get on Jewel, and I had to change my pants, and I had two students helping me, one with the upper half and one with the lower half, because I had to change into black riding pants. So here I was just warming him up, getting him used to the arena, and now I just motioned to the announcer to start the music. So now we're entering, and here we go. He was I think one of the most fun horses I've ever competed. He loved to compete. He loved to show off. As soon as he came into the arena, I remember one of my first tests, I went across at Silverwood and did a trot extension, and they have little bleachers at the end, and I wondered if I was going to be able to stop him. He just kept going. He was an amazing horse. I hope one day I can have a horse with his heart again. AJ has the heart, but he doesn't like to show off. This horse loves to show off. A little pirouette, and I think we go back and do the changes again.
Great music.
Isn't it super music? Now we do another pirouette. Zoop. And off we go. And he was 17 too. It doesn't look like it because the video was taken from up above, but he was a massive horse. He had a big barrel, and he was tall, and he looked so, what always amazed me about him, he's so elegant. Yeah, he was so much fun. Oh, I can hear the music a little bit, Steph. There he goes.
It's trying not to compete with you talking. It's the StreamYard program.
Oh. Let's see. I think in the trot work is when my stock tie starts to bounce out. Oh, it's so funny. And then it was getting in my face, and during the walk work, I tried to stuff it back in, and yeah, we started to pick up the trot again, and then it popped right back out. So we'll see when and it was flapping in my face.
Oh.
It's got to be coming up. There, yeah, you can see it kind of bouncing out. Come on. Too funny.
Well, we all have those moments. The wardrobe malfunction.
Well, yep, there we go. Here it's coming. Yep, especially in the extended trot, it's going to come out. Yep, this horse, he could knock the socks off of you.
Starting to see some
there you go.
action.
You can get in. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I tuck it back in.
Sort of.
Sort of. And then I think I gave up after I had to pick up the trot again. Yeah, you can see I didn't get it very well in there, but I'm like, oh my God, I need to stay to the music. You can't do all of it together.
Right now is your opportunity. Jam that thing in there.
I know, right? No, I wasn't letting go of those reins. No way. He's like ready. Look at him. There it comes out. This
Oh,
is
that's awesome.
good.
Oh,
I
it's
haven't.
out.
Right up. It's just like whapping me in the face.
Oh,
But no one would know I'm wearing a red corset under there.
oh my gosh. You need
And I
that
couldn't.
Velcro stuff that you could have just ripped off the standard classical dressage outfit and been right in the fun costume.
Yeah, but there was a group, because they go in groups. There was a group between my demo and my group. I was in the Frisian group. So there was a demo in between. So that's where the 6 minutes to change. And so I could get on her and warm her up. I mean, the Midwest Horse Fair and those entertainers and riders, I mean, it's no joke. And all the things that the horses and the riders have to go through to produce a good performance, it's tough. Look at that canter. We just sail across the arena. That was the move in the pre-St. George I always was thankful was last, because
Yeah.
getting him back and then coming down center line was brutal. Yep, here it
Oh.
is, coming down center line. Although we might be doing a half pass. Yep, and halt. There he is. Yay! Super duper Huey! What, one of the best horses ever. Yay! There he, and look at him. He's so proud of himself. He's like puffed up. He's like, and he loved the applause. And the hard part with these fairs is like, because you're wearing the suit, the monkey suit, people are like, they're very
Monkeys?
quiet.
Did
Yeah,
you call it the monkey suit?
I sure did. My monkey suit. Yeah. And they're, the people like don't clap because they're all like, oh, it's so elegant. And let me tell you, that horse loved it when people clapped. Loved it.
What do we got here?
Oh, it's the same freestyle. We can pass on that.
What about this
So is
one?
that. No, I don't want to watch that one.
No.
Yeah. I think it's good. That's good stuff.
All
Let's
right.
pass.
Hang on. I got to figure
They
out
can
how to hang on.
they
here.
can check it out on their own.
There. Make sure I'm hitting the right buttons. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Down memory lane.
Absolutely. So if they want to see more videos, they're all on your
On my
Lindinhof.
YouTube.
As you guys saw, you can always, look back at this. There will be the links. You're also, I've got you a link to your channel off my channel. So that was fun. A lot of fun. Looks like we got a few people hanging in watching it. So, that's an example. Dressage is kind of, people call it dancing with the horse. Sometimes it's with music, the freestyle, and sometimes there's no music, which is, a little more boring, but definitely the freestyles look like a lot of fun. And I think, really get the crowds going. It's fun to watch.
It's a blast. It's a blast to ride.
You can do whatever you want. As I assume that you kind of create your own tests. You just have to adhere to whatever required movements and parameters are required at the level.
You got it.
So yeah, that was fun. So, okay, people, any last questions? We're going to cut this off at an hour and a half, another minute and a half tops. That was a lot of fun to cut in and watch some video off your channel. So appreciate kind of talking us through some of those older videos and seeing the horses that you've ridden. So again, Megan's contact info is below. About the 1 hour mark here, she put it in. So if you guys want to click back to about 58 about the 58-minute mark, 56, somewhere in there. She talked about how you can get a hold of her. Her details are below in the description box. And appreciate your time, Megan. This is always fun. And we will organize another live stream. Have to check your schedule, especially with your show schedule and then my schedule, and see if we can get a date on the book soon. So thank you.
Right.
Everybody. I can see a number are tuned in. We really appreciate this so much. Big thank you to our super supporters today. We had 3 super supporters today. We had Data is Amazing. We had the Bell vlog, and we had Connor JC. All 3 are channel friends of mine. I appreciate their super support as well. So check them out. Subscribe to their channels. They got really fun content. All of them do. So check out Megan's channel. Subscribe to her channel. She's Lindinhof 1, number 1 with a numerical 1. So thanks, Megan. We will.
Thank you.
Good. Thanks everybody who's watching right now. We really appreciate you guys, your support, tuning in, and we will see you guys. I'll let you head out, Megan. I know you've got a lot to do.
All right. Goodbye.
Thanks, Megan. So anyway, thanks everybody. Appreciate so much. We will get another live stream put on the books very, very soon. As soon as Megan and I can make our schedules work, hopefully either next Tuesday or Thursday. That seems to be our dates. So gonna call this an evening. Thank you everybody. If you're back and you're watching this on rerun, we appreciate it again so much. Leave a comment below if you can. Let us know if you've got anything you want to know or any topics you want us to cover. We would love to do our best with that. So everybody have a great night. Check out our super supporters, and we'll see you guys on the next videos. Bye-bye, everybody.